You know what's so annoying about trying to make videos? Especially when you have like nothing to help you make the video itself. You just have your lovely phone and your drawing materials. It's the fact that it's so hard to get it set up in a way that everything looks fine and you have both hands. Because I don't have both hands. Because I'm in a different setting from when I made my last video. And so I can't do my little thingamajig that I did. And right now I'm really comfy where I'm sitting. This is BS. So much BS. But hey, hi. Hi, my lovelies. I am back. Let me get this all figured out. Long time no see. Long time no see. Yeah. It's been a hot minute. So yeah, I wanted to do a video because I'm alone in the house beyond my dogs and a small human I'm babysitting. But hey, it's okay. Cause they're asleep. But yeah. So so many updates has happened. So I'm gonna do a little life update first and then go on with rambling. And so yeah, I have moved states again. Since my last video, I moved states and then moved states again. So it's been a little bit chaotic. Let's see. I got a job at one point, which I had a job before, but I had to leave that job. And then now I had a job for a little bit, but then I had to leave the job because the snow. And then I kind of have a job now. It's paid in like rent. And I'm paid in rent and food, I guess you could say. Because they're literally letting me just stay here. But I've like switched where I was staying like 3 times. So much stuff has happened. I got new medication for my heart. So yeah, that happened. What else? Just a lot has happened. I'm using my hand to hold it up. So, yeah, this makes it hard, but it's okay. So much things has happened. I lost my partner that I had at the time. I got a new partner. Actually, fairly recently in comparison to everything. And that partner is very lovely. And that's actually why I am back on making YouTube videos. Because they really enjoy watching my videos, and when we can't call because we're not long distance, but we're not short distance, we're mid distance. It makes them feel better and they can sleep easier, which is really adorable in my opinion. Bet y'all didn't miss me saying 5 million times. Whoop, that's a zoom out. My dog, I am a grandparent now because my dog accidentally got a female dog pregnant, and it was a mixed litter, and at least one of them is his, which is funny because where I'm staying at, they picked the one that ended up being his that nobody expected, because one of them was brown like him, but the other dog was also brown, and then the rest were black. Well, this one that they have is a black one. His name is Cowboy. He's really cute. And he's much taller than his siblings. Because the mama is I forgot what she is, but she's a smaller dog. And yeah, it's a difference. And it's kind of cute, I won't lie. But yeah. So I'm a grandparent now. I've learned how to deal with kids, which is actually a kind of big thing for me because I was never good with children. Or like I was awkward with children, I guess you could say. So that's a thing. Just stuff that looks awful. Sure, what have I done to you? So yeah, like a whole lot of things has happened. I'm about to turn 20, which is also really weird. All of my siblings are, besides my half sibling, are over the age of 18 now, which has to be the weirdest thing because my youngest sibling just turned 18 in November, which is weird as all heavens. So yeah. It's weird. I've tried out new things. Gee, thanks. I got a case for my tablet. It's just been a lot of things. But yeah. It's crazy. But yep. But I'm still out here drawing. I'm still out here trying to be the best human I can be in the world that we live in. And for everybody, everywhere, my channel will forever be a safe space. And I want everybody to know this. It's a safe place for everybody but creeps. Which is, I hope that's kind of obvious. No creeps. No people that are just trying to start a fight. Anything like that, I will very easily just delete it. Because we need to cherish our safe space. So, yeah. All that over. Saru! If you haven't seen my shorts recently on my channel, I have made a fair amount of shorts. I did like a whole thing that was like literally everything that I've done digitally in 2024. And I'm actually really proud of the videos because how I did like the syncopation by accident was great. Literally, it's amazing. I've also done some Suru lore, which, yeah, if you're an OG of the channel, I believe I mentioned it in one of my older videos. The fact that Shuru was originally a Detroit Become Human OC. And her lore now that I'm making for her design, if you know Detroit Become Human, you're gonna see the similarities. But yeah, she is, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I know it's a little bit weird thing to talk about with our current political climate, especially if you're in America or affected by America, which, geez. But she's nice. I've decided that she's going to be a leader of a revolution. And because, yeah, I think that that's cool. And in one of my shorts, which I will link up in like the corner or whatever. I can do fancy YouTuber stuff. Excuse me. She puts on trial, right? And I think what I'm gonna use that is that's gonna be their kind of way of trying to silence them. The government, I should say. I've decided that, hi. So I can talk. Shuru. She was an experiment. She didn't start as an experiment, but she ended up being volunteered for an experiment when she was younger by her guardians. Who her guardians was her aunt and uncle. Her aunt and uncle took her in after her father died. At a young age, I think maybe the oldest I'll have her be, when she moved in with her aunt and uncle, is 6 years old. And wow, this looks weird from your guys' angle. I swear, this is my angle. It looks good. Your guys' angle, it looks weird. But I decided that when she was maybe 12 max, her aunt and uncle volunteered her for something that definitely wouldn't follow the Geneva Convention. A little experiment. And let me do a diagram. So here's Suru, right? This is lovely little Suru. Sure, okay? Do. This is like 12-year-old Suru. Maybe even 8. Let's do 8. 8-year-old Suru. Okay? So we got our little Suru. So in their little thingamajig that they did for their experiment, they were testing cybernetics. And, well, let's just say she lost an arm, she lost a leg. And so she got a prototype thing. But because of how long it took, and her guardians did not want, to get in trouble, even though it was a government experiment, I guess you could say. They faked her death. Because at this time, there was becoming the normalization of androids, of, robots that were humanoid. They got over the uncanny valley. And because they got over the uncanny valley, they went and they were becoming more widespread in use of homes and schools. And mostly homes. Because at schools, they would become, like, if something happened, the more likely to cause issues. But they were becoming more common. And, like, it was common, like, there was even some younger ones for parents who suffered miscarriages. It was a really expensive thing that they were doing. But it was still a thing that they were doing. Where, like, those who had suffered from, not miscarriages, but, like, early child death due to accidents or whatever, you could design an android based off of your child to be custom made. And, yeah, it's kind of like a way to cope. And so that's what they claim Suru was. They pretend that their niece got killed in, like, some sort of accident. And then a few years later, once they figured out all the cybernetic stuff, they went and basically introduced her as Suru, but as a robot, because they were coping. Yeah. Whatever. And so that's how she grew up. Really, what ended up happening was that their aunt and uncle treated them horribly. Didn't want to be found out about it, so when this government program happened, they were like, oh, hey, we can get away with hurting them and neglecting them. So that's kind of why they did it. I know, they're great, aren't they? Actually, oh no, it's in this one. Actually, I have some sketches. So, see, this is the ant. No, don't show the layer. So this is the ant. Oh, you can't see that. So that's the ant, right? And so, ooh, there's a puppy. Give me 1 second. The puppy's running inside. Okay, we're back, and the puppy just knocked down my tablet. What? Woo! So yeah, they're not nice people. But the ant, which I'm really proud, if you haven't seen actually, I can just go back to it, hold on. If you haven't seen the video, the shorts that I used with this, where I had this is their aunt and uncle. And they got custody when their father died. And a little bit of context that I didn't put in the video, I don't think, is that they are her mother's. Oh look, 6. They are her mother's. The aunt, I mean, is her mother's sister, and they blame Suru for their mother's death because their mother died in childbirth. And the reason why they're scribbled out is because Suru was young, obviously, when this all happened, and they were cruel to her, and so they don't even want to think about what they look like. And it also kind of helps their brain to, if they dehumanize them a little bit, because they were dehumanized by them. Hence the scribbles. I love story building. It's so fun. And obviously the creepy smiles, because they were nice at the start. Lovely little Shuru. And this was me kind of designing some androids. But, no, they weren't nice. That's an android example. Death. Because Suru's not their given name. Suru is actually the middle name that was given to them by their mother. And the dad couldn't really pick a name when her mother died. And so he kind of just asked the nurse for an idea and called it good, which isn't the best, but he was grieving. The father is a good person in this story. Or he was. And then this is Suru. Android defied, I guess you could say. But yeah. It's a lot. I have a lot planned out for this. This now I'm just going to show you all my things. This artwork that I spent so much time on, I'm so proud of. It actually is those videos of like show your character at the lowest moment and then at their best moment. Oh my gosh, ignore those lips. Those lips are not good. I can fix it. What am I saying? Why am I telling you to ignore it when I can fix it? But it's those videos. That's what this is for. Is that kind of thing. Because Shuru was at their lowest. And that's that what you saw right there. This part, this is right before they end up in TikTok terms unaliving their aunt and uncle. Wasn't on purpose, but it's what happened. And I'm so proud of the little details on this. Because I'm still finding my style for specifically coloring. Blood spatters. For coloring. And I'm actually really proud of how this has been turning out. The chains need a little bit of fixing, but that's okay. There we go. But that's okay. Like, I did all this. This is all on one layer. Like, if I do this, one layer. And how long did I even spend on this? Let's see. Time-lapse replay. So, I spent a whole heckin' lot of time. Because, yeah. So I guess I'm not here. No, that made it weird. Well, I guess you can see my phone. Yeah. I used the symmetry tool. But I did sunflowers because I really love sunflowers. Blood spatter because post the death. Look at that. look at that. That looks so cool. So far we're barely at the hour mark. Okay. I've spent 5 hours on this thing. Which, that's not normally how long I spend. But no, so Suru's traumatized. This is all over the place. And I've apologized in other videos. But I will apologize again. But at the same time, screw it. Because you're all here. You're all here for me. If you're watching this video, you either just found my channel, or you're a returning viewer of the channel. So, like, you're kind of, if you're, yeah, boy. If you're returning, then you understand. I'm so proud of this one. This is Suru. Okay. Hear me out. Video where I just go explain all my little details in my art. I'm gonna do it. I'm so gonna do it. After I'm done recording this, I'm gonna record that one. Because, like, there's so many little things I do. Like, for this one, they are agender, so they don't identify with any gender. But, like, wearing, like, this type of clothing that's more, like, feminine. But, like, most feminine people don't tend to have unshaven pits. But I personally can't shave mine unless I want to have, like, really bad ingrowns or stuff like that. And so I put that onto Suru. We got these, which I won't say exactly what they are, but if you know, you do know. That, of course. I'm really proud of these shadows, but this is after they've done it. This is adult Suru. It's funny. You can tell how old they are based off their length of hair. Because, like, here's an example of Android Suru. That's kind of their little outfit. This is me experimenting. But they... Oops, what did I just do? Oh, well. If they have... Let's see... I don't know. Let's go to this one. That definitely isn't an Among Us drawing of my partner and I. What? No. So, if we go here. So, younger Suru, which if you've seen some of my art and videos of, younger Suru is going to have longer hair. Mostly because they just weren't allowed to really cut their hair. Or they didn't think that, like, cutting their hair was even an option. And so they just didn't. So they had longer hair. As this is a very bad example of. But they had longer hair. Longer hair. Be right back. My dog is getting into the trash bag. I'm back. We're live. But yeah, they had longer hair growing up. Gee, thanks, tablet. So their hair, by the time they were able to cut it, got to almost their waist. That's how long their hair got. The only thing they really had was bangs. And even then, that's bangs that they cut themselves. And then their aunt and uncle, especially post, the whole becoming Android thing. Well, not really becoming Android, but pretending to be an Android thing. Hi, Equinox. Their aunt and uncle had to go and get them, like, professionally done, which was great. Yeah. Versus them, like, immediately after they escaped their aunt and uncle, they go and they cut their hair, which is the standard Suru hairstyle that you'll see me draw. And this is also after they got their little scar right there, because that comes as a direct result of the scuffle that ended up in the death of their aunt and uncle. What are you doing? And so they have... Really? Knox? Don't you love dogs? But it happened in the scuffle that ended up with the death of their aunt and uncle. I want to say that they cut themselves, but no. They went to the help of their friend who is actually an android, whose name is Alex, which nobody knows this unless you're my friend that was there for it, but they have a stuffed rabbit named Alex. And this stuffed rabbit was given to them by this android, who, in Detroit Become Human terms, deviated. It became sentient, essentially. Like, actually, like, kind of like how humans are sentient. It became sentient. And so it's named after them. And Suru went to Alex because they're like, holy crap. And Alex had said that if they needed anything, because they knew that this was a human. Any android is going to know that they are a human and not a actual android. And so Suru went to them and cut their hair, symbolic, but also it gave them dysphoria, their long hair. So what else are they gonna do? And then when you see them older, because they end up becoming the face of this revolution, because cyborgs. So there's a difference between people who are cyborgs and people who have just prosthetics. So there's like, so let's say you, like, there's your arm, okay? So there's my dog. So if you have a prosthetic, it's like a separate entity, like, that is, attached via whatever. That is my shoe. Bruh. Okay. Really? I'm trying to make a video. Anyways, it's like attached, but it's not connected in like... If you watch Full Metal Alchemist, you'll understand a little bit what I'm trying to go for. It's like, it's not connected to the nerves or whatever. You gotta do certain motions in order for it to move. Versus cybernetics are actually, like, connected. So it will, and it has, like, little AI technology to, like, expand or shrink. Because I know that Because I'm not an amputee or anything. I have all my limbs. Oh my gosh, cowboy. Oh my gosh. I have all my limbs. So this is all this, like, things that I learned about, like, amputation. People who are amputees comes directly from people who are amputees. And I know that, like, let's say you had, like, cancer or something, where that site is that they amputate your limb at, it tends to, like, it's, like, especially when it's, like, a leg or something, from what I've seen, it's going to, like, change in size, because it's still, like, got that muscle or whatever, from what I understand. I could be wrong, but from what I understand. And so that's kind of this AI stuff that they have, like, they're little, like, nanobots type of thing. But they go and they will shift and they will expand or contract if, like, there's swelling or whatever in the site. So it's so comfortable. And it's also connected to the nerves, which is why they have to go so far up. It's connected to the nerves so that when your nerves, like, goes, close your hand, then your hand's going to close if it's the cybernetic. So it's like it's literally words. Y'all get what I'm saying. And if you don't, you can leave a comment. And so that's what Suru has. However, they get a really weird, people who, once it, like, starts happening, because at least, like, a lot of the first world countries kind of goes and breaks down a little bit. It becomes a hellscape of sorts. And so what ends up happening is that those who have gotten cybernetics for one reason or another, because they become really cheap, they end up being seen as lesser than a human, because there's ableism. Ableism exists even in the like, made up world. But there's specifically ableism against people who do not have all their limbs, in this case, among other people that are discriminated against, specifically because they are more android than a standard person would be with all their limbs. And so they act like that they're less than human, and so they're treated as such. And basically the whole story is the androids and who have gained sentience. That's not a toy. The androids who have gained sentience and those cyborgs who have, like, lost a limb or multiple or whatever rise up because they're like, give us rights. Like, come on. We are not less than human just because we're missing our limbs. And it's a really big struggle. Like, it started happening before Shuru ever got into this whole thing, because Alex was part of that whole thing. And Shuru was, like, around 16 when the whole thing with her aunt and uncle occurred. The ending life thingy. And so what ends up happening is that they're taken into the arms of them, and everybody the androids obviously don't think that, but, like, the humans outside of it, just in general, they thought that Shuru was an android, so obviously they're going to treat him as such, etc. And that's also why Shuru wasn't put into, like, any sort of court of law, because they thought it was an android, and androids, they're not going to be put in jail. They're going to be decommissioned, but they couldn't find him because Alex helped secure them. And what ends up happening is they go, and it takes, 16, it's not until they're 27, so over 10 years, that they actually succeed in what their goal is. Which, in terms of like our actual like IRL history, if you look at like the history of like civil rights and all that fun stuff, it takes a lot of time. And I didn't want it to seem like it was something instantaneous. Like in Detroit Become Human, it is not instantaneous. Or it's not instantaneous, but it also feels really rapid pace, because Marcus goes and deviates, and then all the whole thing, it's really fast paced. And so I want this to be slower, because you gotta fight for it. Because like, even for like LGBTQ rights, they're still struggling for it, especially for like the trans bit. And so like, it's going to take time, and I wanted that to be realistic. I am very much rambling about this because I love world building, and I have so many ideas. Like, okay. Like Suru. I'm being attacked. Suru, it becomes like a figurehead for this whole thing, because they have dealt with like the dehumanization firsthand. They're one of the first people to get cybernetics and be dehumanized, and it's like it's a big impact on them, and so they're going to try to fight it. And they like recover from their trauma, not recover, but they process their trauma with these other cyborgs or the androids, especially like Alex or their other ones, the other people. There's one whose name is Puppy, who helps them a lot. And they go and they process everything. And then they're like, okay, I'm going to help you guys, because I've also felt this. And frick that. And it's like a whole thing. I'm going to do a bunch of research on like, because I've learned a lot about how like revolutions, how protests and all those fun things happen. And so I'm basing it off of like my own studies of history, because I love history. And that's what's going to happen. And I wanted it to be like as realistic as possible, but it's also my own original thing. It was originally based on Detroit Become Human, but I'm just going to go make it even better. Well, not like better than Detroit Become Human, because Detroit Become Human is a really cool thing. But it could have, obviously, some stuff could have been better. But no, I'm determined. Okay. I just got attacked by a doggo. Yeah, Conway, I'm talking about you. And so, yeah. If you wanna have updates to my story and about, Suru and what all happens, you can stay at my channel. Like, leave a comment. Comments really help, actually. But, comments really help. Engage in it. Or watch the things. And it helps a lot, especially when YouTube is really saturated with a bunch of content. And I personally don't have TikTok, even though I know that's a great way to expand. I don't have TikTok. I probably won't ever have it. And so hi. I think this is where I'm gonna end, because my dog's anxious. But I'm gonna try to do this more whenever I can. And you guys just know you guys are amazing. Make sure you take time for yourself. And don't forget to eat, drink water, some form of hydration. If you have pets, make sure you give them some love and affection. And just know that it's going to be okay. Alrighty. Bye-bye.